We got a lot of NCAA tournament stuff to go with. Gonzaga, by the way, right now is leading Oklahoma 40-32. 2.5 to go in the first half. So Gonzaga, good offense, playing well, leads the Sooners by 8 late in the first half. That's the second game of the day. Again, it's very weird having games on. It's one thing it's a Thursday or a Friday. To start the week with a bunch of games in the afternoon is very unique, and that's what we have here, of course, going for us right now. Tony in Dallas will start us, and he says hello. Tony, good afternoon. How are you today, pal? What do you have? Tony.
Christopher, to your point, one thing I will say, the Big Ten, literally, by the time you go to bed tonight, the Big Ten could be out of the entire tournament because Maryland plays Alabama. Alabama look good, and you have LSU can take out Michigan very easily, and the Big Ten could be completely out. I will say this. I feel that the Big Ten and the Big 12, to me, Chris, they look gassed. And they look gassed because they beat up. The conference was good all year. And the way that you look at the schedule towards the end of the season and then into the conference tournament, they were playing each other. They were playing the same teams that were going in the tournament. The Pac-12, like, for example, Colorado was beating Arizona State. Oregon State was beating, Arizona, or teams that were not good, and a little bit easier finish there. The one team in the Big 12 that looks fresh is Baylor, because Baylor had that week off for COVID, and they look rejuvenated. They're flying up and down the court, hitting the glass, but everybody in the Big 12, Texas looked absolutely lethargic. Oklahoma State, ran out of gas last night. OU's not going to win. The Big Ten misrepresented. And one last point, the ACC put 7 teams in, Chris, and the best team that looks right now, other than Florida State, is Jim Boeheim's Syracuse, who was the last team in.
And I don't even look at them as an ACC team. I kind of still look at them as a Big East team. Good call. Well done from that standpoint. Maybe there is a little fatigue aspect to it. Maybe the Big Ten did wear itself out. But still, that doesn't explain Rutgers' horrendous meltdown. That doesn't explain Ohio State falling asleep in overtime to Oral Roberts' bad shot selection. That doesn't explain Purdue, which did nothing in the overtime period there against North Texas. Illinois was completely out. I mean, you want to make an excuse for Illinois from that standpoint? Go ahead. I don't look at it. I don't look at it that way myself. The fact that, teams wear themselves out, I've seen it work both ways, where that makes you feel fresh as a daisy and you get into that NCAA tournament and you love playing other teams besides your own or in your conference where you can beat somebody else up for a change. I've heard that forever. But the bottom line is right now is that the Big Ten looks bad. That's all there is to it. And again, we've gone through this 1,000 times. Never think that just because that you got millions of teams in your tournament, and you got 1 seeds all over the place, never assume because of that you are in a situation where you're going to be a big-time NCAA tournament conference. Because in this case is a perfect example. Nobody thought anything of the Pac-12. They do nothing but win. And everybody thought great of the Big Ten, and they do nothing but lose. Let's continue along the way. And here is Charlie in Long Island, New York. Charlie, good afternoon. How are you today, pal? What do you have? Charlie.
Good, Chris. How are you?
All right, Charlie. Thank you. What's on your mind today? What do you have for me? Let me hear.
Before a couple tournament points, did you see Kyrie Irving's going to not make the road trip coming
Yeah, I
up
saw that.
next week?
That's typical. Now, the Nets, he's going to miss the next 3 games of family matter. I wish I could miss about a week of shows because of a family matter. I mean, my goodness. Yeah, I saw that. And the Nets have no choice. Go ahead.
Are you aware tomorrow's his birthday?
Oh, I did not know that. Makes it worse. I was not aware of that. Well, I mean, I guess he wants us, blow out candles. I mean, what can I tell you? I was not aware of that birthday scenario. So I learned something. All right, go ahead. Next.
Couple things on the tournament. 3 quickies. 1, Boeheim's son's the best player in the tournament so far to date. He's playing lights out. 2, any team that's drafting this Cade Cunningham first and banking their franchise on him, I really have doubts about that. And 3, I've been writing the money lines on all these dogs. I knew these seedings were going to be all screwed up because of COVID. And betting these underdogs money line has been a very good thing for the gamblers out there.
Well, if you listen, 100%. If you like, Illinois, Loyola won for you. North Texas won for you. A lot of the underdogs, obviously Oral Roberts has won a couple games for you. Abilene Christian has won a couple of games for you. If good call, Charlie, from that standpoint, you make a killing. A lot of places won't let you do that. Those huge those huge money lines, they do not allow that. Mike in Orange County, California, is going to be all revved up on UCLA. Michael, good afternoon. How are you today, pal? What do you have? Mike.
Chris, I'm revved up on the Pac-12. The disrespect everybody showed this conference throughout the year, the national media, even Mad Dog Sports Radio. Let's face it, Chris, no one knew anything about the Pac-12. I'll tell you about the Pac-12, how good they are, how competitive they are. But this is an absolute, just fantastic thing that's going on with the Pac-12. And the Big Ten is awful. I mean, really, let's face it. And I know Steve likes Colorado, so I'm going to give him some Pac-12 credit there because he kind of does like the Pac-12. But see if it's terrific. UCLA, nothing better. Mick Cronin completely outcoached Mark Pope Saturday night. Playing BYU.
I didn't see the BYU game the other day.
Why not?
So
what are you doing?
can't. Again, a lot of these late starts to me too, Mike. That game was a late start. I mean, that's a lot of these games have started very, very late, and that game I did miss. I'll watch UCLA this afternoon. I feel good about where UCLA is right now. I think they're going to beat Abilene Christian. And if that gets UCLA into the next round, then I think they'll lose to Alabama. I mean, I think Alabama's pretty damn good. That'll be a hard game. But there is no question about it. The Pac-12 did not get a lot of love in a regular year, and they deserve more than they got. You're 1,000% correct. Go ahead.
Chris,
Next.
let me say this, too. I just listened to your podcast today with Walton and UCLA. This is tremendous. Bill Walton was so good. I mean, he was so crystal clear in everything. It was an incredible trip down memory lane for UCLA basketball. Everybody has to listen to this podcast, Chris. It was fantastic, the job you did with Bill and Jamal and just hearing all the stories. And Gail, Chris, I was in heaven listening to it. It's just the best.
I
it is just an
appreciate
incredible
it.
time period.
We did a separate podcast. We did a separate episode on UCLA. Give Bill Zimmerman all the credit. Go ahead. What else? By the way, he's left us. So he got that was episode 3 that dropped today on this little podcast. Give Bill Zimmerman the credit. I mean, everybody wants to knock Bill. I'll tell you, Bill you can't do without him. Did a tremendous job. Anyway, meanwhile, we'll get your calls in a sec. Good to have. He was on sick bay for a little while, but he's bounced back. The best update guy in the shop is he. Bob Gatterstein's got it at half past. We'll come right back to me here on Mad Dog Unleashed.